Hey guys, it's Reenactment Day here with another video, and in this video I'm going to go briefly over the history of the canteens issued to the normal soldier from World War I until the end of World War II. So let us begin with the early style of canteen, World War I. This canteen, as you can tell, very shiny, very nice. It is pre-1917 because there is no date on it. There's a couple locations that the date could be right here, could be on the bottom, could be, that's pretty much the two main places. But you can see in the light how just shiny it is, which I'm pretty sure that means it's unissued or somebody just shined it up for like parade use. But it is very nice. I do like it. Now, as you can see, the chain is made out of brass, it seems. Cap and the actual whole canteen is aluminum, and makes this god-awful sound when you open the cap. Normal cap, screw on, cork. Now the way it fastens onto the canteen, this will change, so you might want to keep an eye on that. I'll bring it up when it changes. The canteen is made from a few different pieces. Pieces being these two pieces, as you can see, they are soldered or welded together all around. The cap, and cap's a separate piece, and this top nozzle is a different piece as well. These sometimes don't like to screw on, or when they do, they really like to be loud. This canteen, actually at the front, just got new canteens, the M1942 Style early aluminum cap, but they started to have a problem with it. Pieces of this solder would break off from the canteen and would not be nice to drink. So at the front, recalled all the canteens, let out a notice, which I will just tell here: if you bought a at the front canteen, contact them and they'll take it back. But what they did with all the canteens that did that is they took it out, they took their half track with their MG42 and just machine gunned them down. So that is the M1910 early style, and a little bit of a warning for the at the front ones. Let us move on to the cup. The cup, as you can see, just a very standard M1910 style cup. Brass handle. How you'd make the handle hook is you flip it around. You take this little lever piece right there, and you just hook it up and over. Then you have the handle ready for use. Now, a couple things you might want to note is on this cup is the location of the date, right on the bottom. The material of the handle, which is brass. The shape of these, right here, you see they're pretty round. On the inside, the rivets are smoothed down quite nicely. Similarly with the canteen, or with the cup, and a lot of things from that era, they wouldn't be dated pre-1917. So if you have a canteen cup that's undated and it just looks original, most likely it is from pre-1917. Brick from my attempt at history has a pre-1917 cup, just has a US stamped on the handle, but no date. That's a really cool find. Canteen doesn't have a date on it or anything. A little warning with these weld marks: they tend to have a little bit of lead in them. There was a test done where they kept water in one of these canteens for about 2 years, and then they tested the lead levels in the water, and it was still barely readable. So if you have water in here for like a weekend or even a week, it should be fine. But I wouldn't store water in there for more than a week or years. And honestly, just don't store water in these because they are aluminum and they can corrode on the inside. That is the problem with a aluminum canteen. They are hard to take care of. So when you are done with these, you want to empty all the water out and open the cap, take the cap off, and store them upside down. One of the best ways to do it that I realized is you just put the canteen in the cup like that. Works fine. Just to let it air out for about a day. But just something to take care of these canteens. Now, cup, it always makes this very loud pop when you put this over. Because when you put it over, this is like an echo chamber right here. So that's not nice. But canteen fits in the cup. So let's see if I just actually could get it in the cup. There we go. And that is the early style M1910 canteen. These canteens were used up until World War II, but with minor changes to the cup as World War II began. So let's start with let's move on to the other M1910 style canteen. As you can tell, this one is a bit different, but also very similar in many ways. You can tell canteen is made out of aluminum, 2 pits welded together, then the cap and the other part of the cap. You can see right here where the date would be on the M1917 or post-1917 canteens. It would be right here. And it's still hooked on the same way as the M1910 World War I style canteen. But the major difference is the introduction of a Bakelite cap. Now, the main reason they just started to make these is because it's easier, cheaper, and it's lighter to make these caps. There was really no other reason. They were a little less durable, but as you can hear, they don't make that god-awful screech. And it really doesn't change anything. It's a cap, keeps the water in fairly well. All these canteens leak, but that's normal. But that is the quick going over of the earlier World War II style of canteen. Now, as you can see, this cup is original as well. Late World War II. As you can see right here, these little tabs are squared off instead of rounded off like the World War I version. The handle is now aluminum. It's a bit rough right now. I gotta clean it up, but a bit rough. It is aluminum handle, aluminum or steel, whatever. But on the inside, the rivets are not flattened down. They are just stamped in there. Really doesn't matter, and hooks on the same way. This cup has a bit of trouble hooking on, or no, maybe it was the other cup. But this cup hooks on nice. As you can see, the date is no longer on the bottom. It is on the handle. So you may have a 1943 production cup, but a 1945 handle, and that's just how they were put on. Probably not. Canteen cup was probably made the same year as the handle. But as you can see, that is the canteen cup. Nothing too special. Still the rounded edge, or rolled edge, I should say. Same as the World War I version. And that's pretty much that with the canteen. Everything is pretty much still the same with the World War II version as the World War I. Now, in 1942, they started to try putting the canteens together a different way. As you can see, I'll just actually keep this one out for reference. Weld mark's a bit different. You can tell this one goes down the side and around the whole canteen. And this one just goes around the top. It's a horizontal seam canteen. I really like this canteen. I don't know. I just find it unique. You always see the ones with the vertical seams, not the horizontal. But the date on this canteen is now on the bottom. As you can see, that's where some of the dates could be. Bakelite cap, still fastened on the same. This Bakelite cap's in a bit better condition. There was flat Bakelite caps, which were like the M1910 style, just flat on the top instead of this little dip. But that was the only difference of those. The main difference right now is the location of the date and the seam. Also the cup, if I can just move these things out of the way, make some room. You can see it's pretty similar to the early style World War II cup, but with pretty much one main difference. It actually seems like the rivets are a bit smaller as well. But as you see, the edge is folded instead of rolled. This really doesn't affect anything on the Canteen cup. This one just does. This one feels nicer, but again, really doesn't matter much. Still a very nice Canteen cup. Date is again on the handle, and that is pretty much it with this cup. Now we move on to the entirely different style of Canteen, the M1942 style. Now some of the major differences are, you can see there's no big weld mark anywhere, no noticeable weld mark at least. There's now this rim across the top. I'm not too sure why they added the rim, probably for something like gripping or storing it in the cup or something like that. But this is a very common Canteen you see post-war as well. Another major difference is that it is now made out of stainless steel instead of aluminum, which means you don't got to worry about corrosion, you don't got to worry about the weld marks, you don't got to worry about anything really much, pretty much. It's just a very nice Canteen. There's a lot of to-go Canteen. This is a very good Canteen for reenacting. Very common, very liked, just because you don't got to worry about corrosion and stuff, and it's easy to take care of. As you can see, cap is still the same. Chain, actually the chain on this one and these two, I forgot to mention, are made out of steel or aluminum now instead of the brass. But cap is Bakelite, cork, everything's the same. See right there. And it is now fastened to the Canteen via this little bit that's welded on and this loop that's hooked onto the chain and hooked onto the cap. So that is that right now. Very nice Canteen. This is my favorite Canteen to use. But I'd still have to say my favorite Canteen in general is the M1910, the good old original. But stainless steel Canteen is very nice. And again, they did also change over to the stainless steel cup. It is pretty much the same thing as the M1910 style of Canteen cup. If it's even different, I think they might have just changed the Canteen. But same way, hooks over, and you got your cup, but it is now stainless steel. This cup is really good to cook with because if it's aluminum, it can gain some black stuff on the bottom, and that black stuff will get into your food. But if it's the stainless steel, it's good for cooking. As you can see, I use it for cooking a lot. And so did the soldier that owned it before me. Handle, that's where the date is again. The cup has a folded edge. Stainless steel, like I mentioned. Seems like a stainless steel handle as well. One noticeable difference actually is on the M1910 style of Canteen, there's no hole right up here. While on this one, there is a hole right on the handle. Along these two as well. That is mostly for cleaning purposes, so you can hook it onto the mess kit and dip it into a vat of scalding hot water. Which that'll be another video on how to clean your stuff the GI way, but we will go back. That'll be a separate video. So everything's the same on this cup other than it's stainless steel, and that's pretty much it, actually. And this one's just better to cook with. Now a quick show of the date. Now for that loud pop of closing the cup. Date is also on the bottom. 1944. Now we move on to the date of the Canteen. It is on the bottom again. SM code made by many manufacturers, 1944. This is a very nice Canteen. Now, let us move on to Canteen covers. the canteen cover. Let's start with the World War I style. This is an original I got. It's in really bad shape. I didn't realize it was in bad shape. You might have seen it in the World War I video, my World War I impression video. But this was here before, but what happened was as soon as I tried to put a canteen with water in it, this back ripped right off. As you can see, there's no wire hook, which is it's absolutely terrible. I was literally just testing to see if fabric softener did bring back the leather or canvas. I always call it leather for some reason, but bring back the canvas back to strength, and I wasn't quick enough and that tore off. It's very sad. I'll definitely learn from that mistake, but this World War I stuff you got to be careful with. Other than that, World War I style canteen, lift the dots. The early M1910 style just had snaps and not these lifted dots. The date is on the inside. Right here, has a nice wool interior. Right there, actually helps keep your water cool, which is surprising. Has a couple just markings on it. But you won't see too much change with the canteen cover, but is the World War I style. So as you can see on the back, this seam goes all the way down the length of the canteen cover. Now that will change when we talk about the World War II style of canteen cover. As you can see, they're very similar. The date on this one is on the bottom. It is very faded. See, wire hook is on there. This is a repro wire hook because there was no wire hook on it to begin with. But again, everything's the same. Lift the dots, pop that open, wool interior. The seam on the back, as you can see, it's just a little seam now instead of the one going all the way down the length of the back. Actually, another canteen cover that I have that's mid-war. You can actually see it go down about to this patch. So that is the World War II style canteen cover. You see, it doesn't change too much, so this is going to be a pretty quick topic. So, not too much difference between the two. But the main change that happened was they started to go to a more OD. Now, this is an original 1945 canteen. You can see it has a wider patch on it, probably to just make it more durable. I like the use of OD and the more khaki color. They changed from a brass wire hook to a steel wire hook. Same, and everything else is the same. You lift the dots on the inside, wool interior, and that's pretty much it. There's not too much difference between them other than the colors and just the minor differences, like the date is also now on the back. Nothing too fancy, but they are canteen covers for the canteens. Some people might ask, why do I have so many canteens? I just find them cool for some reason. So, that is going to be it for the entire canteen video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. If you have any video ideas, please put them down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the new intro. We just had a contest where subscribers would make intros and submit them and see which one was, and me and the Discord would vote on which ones were better, or which ones won, which ones we liked more. So, that is going to be it with the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.